Are you stuck on a certain track or simply just want to improve? Either way, I'll help you out with this quick guide for Chocobo racing in FF7 Rebirth. Starting off, there are 7 Chocobos to choose from, with each of them having their own attributes and unique abilities. 6 of those Chocobos are unlocked through wrangling them in each of their respective regions. The 7th, however, is unlocked via the Can't Stop Won't Stop side quest. Each Chocobo has certain attributes that they will excel at when compared to the others. Equipping gear is the key in bridging these gaps for Chocobos lacking in a certain stat, or to boost their already high attributes even more. As for what these attributes mean exactly, well, speed determines just how fast your Chocobo will go, especially in straight lines. Having a high speed stat is what will help you catch up to the pack and maintain a lead. Acceleration is for how fast your Chocobo can get up to speed. This is especially important for any time you collide with an obstacle or fall off a track. Weight will mean how easy it will be for you to hold your ground when bumping into other Chocobos. However, a high weight stat will hinder your total flight distance. Cornering is how responsive your Chocobo will be handling turns, along with how well it can execute drifts. Strength affects your Chocobo's traction. Having points in this attribute will help how much you will slip around when on an incline, off-road, or in water. Intelligence determines how potent your abilities are. So essentially, the higher the stat, the more quickly your meter can charge, as well as how long your ability may last. So to enhance those attributes, make sure to collect all the gear from getting golden plumes by restoring Chocobo stops and trading them into vendors like Chloe. Also pay special attention to the skills that each gear unlocks when equipping it for the race, as during it you will be able to see what skills are active by looking right here. As for when it comes to gear builds, there is a ton of information out there on what people prefer to use, so I'm not going to talk about specific builds. Instead, what I do suggest is experimenting and finding out what works best for you. With that said, remember that on each track there will be a Chocobo that will have an easier time landing first on it versus the others due to a combination of their attributes and unique ability. So be sure to plan ahead by paying attention to the track's layout, analyzing for shortcuts, and by reading the hints in the description box. Once a race starts, make sure to always execute a start dash. This is done by holding down X as soon as the countdown hits 2. The timing does take some practice, but there's literally no downside to attempting it. You can tell if you're gonna land it if you see your Chocobo get into this stance. Drifting is something you should be executing in every race, as it will help you navigate turns much easier while maintaining speed, along with giving you a slight boost in acceleration if held long enough. There are 3 stages of drift, which are shown by the spark effects near your Chocobo's legs. Now, as you navigate around each course, there will be 3 colored balloons to pick up: blue, yellow, and red. Blue, aka speed balloons, affects your top speed, which can be collected up to a total of 10. Yellow, aka dash balloons, give you dash charges that will boost your Chocobo's speed for up to 2 seconds. You will trigger this by pressing R1 once your charge is ready. And while 2 is the max you can hold at a time, there is gear that can increase that maximum number. Red, aka ability balloons, will help fill up your unique ability meter. This meter can charge over time, but grabbing these will significantly speed up that process. You can trigger your Chocobo's ability with L1. My advice is to prioritize collecting the blue ones first to get to 10 so your Chocobo is always at top speed. A good rule to follow is avoid running directly behind another Chocobo's line, as this can prevent you from getting balloons. If possible, take a path that can grab multiple balloons at the same time. Without a doubt, you should always aim to avoid bumping into other racers and objects, as every time this happens you will lose blue balloons, which will reduce your top speed. Always keep an eye out for alternate routes and shortcuts to take advantage of. Some of them are very obvious and will give you a hint by placing balloons in that area. You will also want to use updrafts to cut across sections of the map and use both speed and abilities to move through rough terrain. Most tracks have a good number of obstacles to navigate around, and while they can be painful at first, a lot of them can be dealt with quite easily. For example, in water sections of each track, you can maintain your top speed by running alongside the edge, which can also work for other tricky sections as well. As for the Cactuar gates, they cycle every 3 seconds, so it's wise to keep that in mind and even keep a dash charge ready for them. Finally, let's move on to going over each Chocobo. Pico is a well-rounded bird, and aside from being the first Chocobo you get, he was also my go-to because I could shred the competition with raw speed. His ability Speed Burst allows Pico to exceed his top speed, and if you maintain it long enough, he will be able to knock other Chocobos out of his way with invincibility. This ability is fantastic at catching up to the pack, or maintaining the lead. Be sure to cut corners as hard as humanly possible to take advantage of its speed boost. Belle excels with speed and strength stats that lets her push her way through the pack and maintain her position. Her rock solid ability allows her to prevent being knocked around, increases her traction, and allows her to collide with objects or other racers without losing blue balloons. I like to use her ability when I want to push my way through the pack with brute force, and also whenever I come across obstacles that I want to avoid losing speed balloons to. Kaima has really solid stats, especially in acceleration, but she lacks in the speed category without gear. Her birdshot ability is dangerous in the right hands, as it can fire off 3 shots in a straight line that can temporarily knock out another rival. Her shots do not bounce off of walls, so make sure to line up your shots to make them count. Fango, like Pico, is very well rounded stats wise and can leap his way out of a lot of situations. His Choco Jump ability is one of the best since you can use it to avoid obstacles, extend your flight time, and knock over nearby racers if you land next to him. To bring out his full potential, you should use his ability to hop over dreaded Cactuar gates, cut across corners, hop over fences, and get to areas no one is supposed to reach. Apony is similar to Kaima where she has great stats except in the speed category. Luckily, her unique ability more than makes up for that. Hoverbird allows Apony to glide above the ground, which allows you to easily create shortcuts through rough terrain and avoid out-of-bound penalties as you float through the air. Whenever possible, use this to bypass obstacles. Selena is built like a speedy tank due to her high speed and weight attributes. Though without gear, her lack of cornering may make it tough to get around turns. Her Choco Bubble shoots off a blast that will home in and track a single target, similar to that of a red shell in Mario Kart. Because of this powerful ability, you can definitely claw your way back into any race. Finally, the Mecha Chocobo has amazing stats, which is to compensate for the fact that it can't be equipped with any gear. His Birdseek ability is incredible at clearing any rival racers completely out of your way. You can unleash electrical attacks whenever you want with L1, but the more you use it, the faster it will deplete the gauge. A final tip to remember is the usage time of abilities like Speed Burst, Rock Solid, Choco Jump, Hoverbird, and Birdseek can all be extended while active as long as you keep collecting ability balloons. Now, Birdshot and Choco Bubble work slightly differently, where once it's ready, you can start building up your ability gauge again to stack it. So for example, once it's full, you can unleash a total of 6 consecutive Birdshots or back-to-back Choco Bubbles. And that's all I got for now, so hopefully those tips helped you out with Chocobo Racing in Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. If you got some tips I missed, let us know down in the comments, and thank you very much for watching. P.S. I hope Square Enix adds online multiplayer for both Chocobo Racing and Queen's Blood. Eventually.